Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the greatest live show of all time. That is right, everybody. Today, we're doing another episode of, what do we call this? Is it algorithm maxing? Is it dead channel maxing? Or maybe it's something in between. Maybe it's dead algorithm channel maxing. Who knows? With that being said, I hope you're all doing well. I'm going to be very sad if you're not. Uh-oh. Is it going to connect? It's public, right? I think. Uh-oh. It doesn't want to... Am I streaming? I have to be. I think I am. Okay, I am streaming. Okay, good. Just making sure. All right. We're streaming now. Yeah, I don't know whether or not I call this. Oh, okay, so we have been streaming. It just wasn't working for a second. Okay. Hello, Angel H. You're the first person in chat. Congratulations, second streamy, but I believe we are. I mean, that is what I said, was it not? But yeah. So for any of the VOD watchers, if you're wondering why the daily donut goal is partially filled out, well, that's why. But yeah, and, with that being said, hello, Phoenix, hello, Matthew, hello, Dodd, hello, Cotter, formerly Desmond, hello, Orion Cat, hello, Ben, how are you all doing? I hope you're all doing well. I would be very sad if you're not. Since you now know Ava, you're about to enter the multiverse of Transfem creators. Yo, let's go. I've always wanted to do that. Hello, 33. Good to see you again. Hello, No Pants. Hello, Nathan. You're doing good. Well, that's good news. I'm glad that you're doing good. I have been playing Assassin's Creed 3 for the past 4 hours. Well, goddamn. What I want to do is, I want to make sure that, like, people don't get, like, additional notifications or anything. So, like, is there, like, a way, Can I, like, make it so that it doesn't give people notification after the fact? I don't even know. Customization, live chat replay. I don't know. Anyways, I don't know how to. Maybe I'll figure it out later. Because, like, I don't want to unlist it or anything, but I also don't want it to spam people with notifications or anything. Oh well. Comments and ratings, live embedding. Yeah, I don't know if there's anything I can do. There's the, like, but I don't know. Oh well. With that being said, hello, Skylar the Unicorn. It's very good to see you again. Hello, PP Girl 420. Hello, Jay the Chicken Nugget. It's good to see you all here. Hello, Minty. I just watched some guy crash out over the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight, and saying they wish Jake was dead. Well, I have to disavow that. You know, I wouldn't wish death upon anybody. Hey, thank you, Patelcraft, for the $10, you beautiful Vulcan bastard. Saying hello again. Hello, welcome back. Feel free to request 2 Skirt Go Spinnies or me. Purring into the mic, it's up to you. Hello, Behemoth, it's very good to see you again as well. Very good to see you all here. And, yeah. 2 spinnies? Alright, let me drink some water, alright, and then I will do that. Who won the fight? I think Jake Paul did. I think Jake Paul won the fight. I have no idea, though. I think that's what I heard people say. But again, who knows? It could be anything, truly. Oh, chat, I just remembered. Since I am wearing this specific collar, this one came with a leash, okay? You see this? You see this? This is a leash, okay? It attaches, okay? With that being said, if we reach the dono goal, I will attach the leash. I'm just saying. With that being said, and it will be on for the rest of stream, which is going to be like an hour or something. That's right. Cute, tell me why thank you. Hello there, Fem, my love, is sending kisses your way. Why, thank you, Naran, it's very good to see you again. Meme shit post. Dude, I need to fix my posture. God damn it. No! What is wrong with my posture? Does cutting your pee-pee hurt? I don't know, I've never tried it before. You tell me. Hello, JDHD plays. It's good to see you here, I suppose. Or maybe it's bad to see you. I'm just kidding. I wouldn't be mean to you. That would be mean. It was definitely scripted, though. I legit have the script saved in my phone. Wait, the fight between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul was scripted? Wait, is there actually evidence of that? Wait, is that a real thing? No way. I don't believe that first. I don't think it's scripted. I don't think it's like, professional wrestling in that regard. I could be wrong. I have no idea. Anyways. But, yeah, Mike made 20 mil? Wait, really? No, that was bogus? Wait. Was it faked? Wait, chat, I don't know anything about this. Staged a million percent? Wait, how can you tell? You disgust me? Oh yeah? Well, you disgust me. Checkmate, liberal. He would lose money if he knocked Jake out? Wait, really? Wait, that's crazy. Also, Death Knight, I'm gonna give you a 24-hour for spamming. Eventually, it might be a permanent ban. You've been very annoying these past couple days. Jesus Christ. I have that is a rare instance of somebody being so annoying that, like, I remember them for being annoying. That is impressive. But if you do it again, then you're probably gonna get permanently banned. I'm just saying. You're so pretty, WTF. Why, thank you. Why, thank you. I appreciate that, Maggie C. He made more the longer the match went on? Bro, that's crazy. What's even crazier is Diane Hutt saying show tits. I'm sorry. What in the fuck? I'm sorry, what? The women's fight was the best. Dude, I didn't watch any of it. I don't know anything about boxing. I'm sorry. Chat, don't cancel me for not knowing anything about boxing, okay? It's not my fault, okay? I just don't know anything about it, okay? What is your sexuality? I am technically bisexual, but I do have a preference for women and people that just present more femininely in general. But I am bisexual. There are some more masculine-looking men that I will make an exception for. Are trans girl tits against TOS? I think so, yeah. Like, if you've been on HRT and, like, they've grown, like, I think so, yeah. I do remember there was, like, a specific instance where I was wearing a crop top that you can, like, button up and down, right? And there was one last time that I was able to show what I look like shirtless on the internet without it being nudity, right? Because, like, they were starting to grow a little bit, right? It was definitely noticeable, right? But it could be perceived as, like, still a flat chest, right? And then ever since then, it's like, yeah, if I do this, like, this might be, like, borderline TOS, and now it would just be TOS, right? It's not even necessarily a matter of how you identify, right? So, like, let's say, for instance, there was a trans man that hasn't gotten top surgery, right? And he shows his titties, like, he just takes his shirt off, no bra or anything, right? That would probably be considered TOS. So it's not even a matter of identity either. It's just like, do you have boobs? If the answer is yes, you're probably not going to be allowed to show them. I got a short of you topless in my feed the other day from when you were in your Femboy arc. Wait, was that from when I was in my Femboy arc, or was that before I was in my Femboy arc? Because I do specifically know what you're talking about, I think. That would have been before my Femboy arc. That would have been when I was, like, trying to build muscle, maybe? I don't know. But before I had started successfully building muscle and then realized, oh, shit, I actually don't want this. Yeah, if my hair was short, was it the one where it looked like I had just gotten out of the shower because my hair was wet? If that was the case, then that was definitely before my Femboy arc, to say the very least. Sending love, my friend. Good to see you again, Autumn. Fun fact, Autumn is the person that I debated on the other live stream. Obviously, she got blown the fuck out. We actually, called, off stream, or whatever. I was definitely more, look, I'm more patient off stream, right? Because, like, I don't have, like, a show to run. So it's like, if somebody makes, like, a really bad argument on stream, it's like, I'm gonna fucking roast the shit out of them type of thing, right? Off stream, I feel like, I don't know, I was able to have a good faith discussion. I feel like they had a better understanding of me. I think one of the things I said that, like, really put it into perspective for her, was when I asked her, how would you feel if you started growing more facial hair, right? And your face structure started looking more masculine and your voice deepened and you started being perceived as a guy, right? And she was like, well, that would be fucking terrible, right? And I'm like, that's how I feel, right? That's how I feel. That's what it's like to be a trans woman. And I think that ever since then, I feel like she's at least understood my position better, right? I don't know. Here's the thing, though, is I feel like having, like, a super good faith discussion on stream is difficult, because if somebody is debating on stream, it's inherently a more content-oriented concept, right? It has to be from both ends, right? But I can really only grow chin hair. Yeah, I can grow mustache hair. I hope that the small amount of razor burn that I got the other day isn't noticeable. I really hope. A little bit of chin hair and then hair, like, here. I could grow, like, a really shitty mustache if I wanted to. And that's, like, again, keep in mind, like, that small amount of peach fuzz was enough to give me dysphoria, right? In fact, there are cis women that have that issue, right? Generally they're not Caucasian. If they have that issue, generally that's like a thing that you'll notice with people that have like really dark hair. Where it's like that like grows fast and thicker, right? They might get like a little bit of peach fuzz like on their upper lip, and that's something that a lot of cis women are insecure about, right? It's just that small amount of peach fuzz. And like that's what I was starting to get. And but like the difference is that I knew that was going to get worse as a result of testosterone. Femyoz's ideal wifey material, why thank you. You're fat? No, you're fat. That's right. My beard is majestic. It's thick and luxurious. See, that's the thing is if I had a beard, I would not like that. I would be like, what the fuck? What's a cis woman? Yeah, like cis woman. CIS, right? It just means a woman that is not trans, right? Cis just means not trans. It's like the opposite of trans. So cis, spelled CIS, is a prefix that means same. Trans is a prefix that means opposite or different, right? It implies like some sort of difference or incongruence, right? I get it. I like my beard though. Yeah. See, that's the thing. Is different people are going to, you know, be affected differently by different things, right? So a woman? Well, yeah, but you're specifying which type of woman, right? So it's gonna be the case that both trans women and cis women would fall into the category of women, right? So I would say, well, yeah, a woman, right? So like if somebody would said, oh, there's a trans woman, I'd be like, oh, okay, so like a woman, right? I could say that, but that's not like really useful because I think if there might be instances in which you might need to make a distinction, right? So you would make the distinction between two different types of women, right? Cis women and trans women, right? I had a beard by 14. It sucks. It was all neck too. Oh, damn. Yeah, that's the thing is different people feel differently about facial hair, right? Depending on oh my god, reminder to fix my posture in my own head. See, this is why I raised the microphone, but it's like, it's so easy to just do that. But yeah, no, I get what you mean. I get what you mean. I hate that cis sounds like sissy. I know it's different, but I understand why people get confused. Yeah, you just have to understand the context of what it's being, of how it's being used. I can't stand getting facial hair. Yeah, me neither. Me neither. You would say I'm a man, however I identify as a woman. No, that'd be like a contradiction in terms, right? So it's gonna be the case that like whatchamacallit? What was I gonna say? Sorry. You would say that I'm a woman, right? That doesn't mean I'm a biological female. That's how you make the distinction, right? So that like the distinction is like if we're talking about gender identity, this is fundamentally different from biological sex, right? So my gender identity is that of a woman, right? That's how I identify. I use she, her pronouns, etc., right? That's the identity aspect of it. In terms of my biological sex, I was assigned male at birth. I'm biologically male for the most part, depending on how you categorize sex, I guess, because I do have some female sex characteristics as a result of me being on HRT, such as breasts, obviously estrogen in my system, it affects the fat redistribution, just secondary sex characteristics and whatnot, right? I would still say I'm mostly biologically male, right? Even if there's like some characteristics that aren't. Are you American? Yes, I am. I am American. Bring your chair closer to, yeah, that could also help. Just say massive mommy milkers. I don't have massive mommy milkers though. They're small. That's the thing that's sad. Good night, Femyoz. Good night, Ben. I hope you've enjoyed your stay. Why did you ban me? I don't know. You hate me just like my parents? No, I'm just not your therapist. I'm sorry. Call 988. I am not 988. I'm not a suicide hotline, okay? All right, I'm sorry. This is not, I'm not a professional. I'm not a therapist. I don't know what I'm doing. I am just a dumb YouTuber, okay? I'm sorry. Yes, that is Mikey. Go to fucking church, dumbass. No, I don't think I will. I'm just never gonna go to church. How about that? Your hair is destroyed. It's actually not. How is it destroyed? Like, I just have it like in a bun. Chat, do you want me to let my hair down? They're massive in my heart, fem. Yeah, well, they're objectively not large. Hypothetically, if a man is on HRT, will it stop him from being fertile? While he's on HRT, yes. Once he goes off of it, that's up in the air. You might be infertile after the fact. It's going to depend on who you are, what your dosage is, and just whatever, and how long you've been on it for. Long story short. So if you're like on full on HRT, that does affect your fertility, right? Now, if you, say, for instance, go on puberty blockers, then that's just going to temporarily affect your fertility, right? So you're not going to be fertile while you're on them. However, once you go off of them, you become fertile again, right? But yeah. Anyways. Also, the choker made me go awooga. Hell yeah, dude. And if we reach the donor goal, if y'all want this, alright, I will attach the leash. Alright, this attaches to the collar, okay? And I will wear it for the rest of stream. But yeah. If we get $50, which is half the donor goal, right? So we're actually 20 bucks away from that. I'll put on these little cat ears. Whip it out, dude. Wait, whip what out? Also, chat, should I let my hair down or do I keep it up? What do you guys? Holy shit! Holy shit! Thank you, Behemoth, for the $100. Holy shit! I did not expect that. That was quick. Can we get some 07s in chat? Holy shit, thank you. Common Behemoth W. Holy fuck. Holy fuck-a-moly. That is wild. That is crazy. Holy shit. That's a... Dude, oh my... Alright, there we go. Hope you guys like this. I have to wear this for the rest of stream. Chat, would you guys, like, tug on it? Would you be like... Anyways, yes. Hail the Lord and Savior, Behemoth. Yank it, fem. I don't want to break it. I don't know how, like... I don't know how much you can yank it, because, like, it is mainly an aesthetic thing. She put on the leash, yeah. Yeah, where's Lime? Dude, if Lime came to my house, she would totally, like, tug this. She would be like, it's time for your walk, Femi. I'd be like, God damn it. Dude. Telling Lime? I mean, yeah. I'd be more worried about your choker. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's fine. I think it's meant to be tugged at least a little bit, you know? That's very entertaining. Furry alert! That doesn't make me a furry, okay? Chat, do I keep my hair up or do I let it down? What do you guys think? I kind of like it like this, but I also let it down. Do you believe in autogynephilia? No. Autogynephilia is, like a pseudoscientific claim that's been debunked like 5 billion times, right? So it's actually the case that the criteria that have been used to diagnose people with autogynephilia has been used on cis women as well. And the majority of cis women would also be classified as autogynephilic, right? Yeah, AGP is only useful for the meme. But yeah, it actually has been debunked, right? So the problem with Blanchard's entire methodology is he forgot to include cis women as a control, right? So what he would have had to have done to prove his entire claim, right, is have some sort of control group that includes cis women, right? Like the issue is that the underlying assumption is that it's on the basis of some sort of male sexual pathology, right? But that's not necessarily the case, right? See, again, you would have to prove that this doesn't apply to cis women. You'd have to have that as a control group, right? Like you can't really have like a control group of cis men, right? You would need cis women as like a control group in order to make that claim. Anyways, why did you choose to be trans? I actually did not choose to be trans. I chose to transition. But in terms of why I came out as trans, it was mainly in order to maximize my happiness, right? Like I could have stayed in the closet. I could have pretended like, oh yeah, I definitely use he and pronouns. I would never transition. That would be crazy. You know, I could do that. I've decided not to, simply because there's not really any utility that I can derive from that. You will need cis men, cis women, and trans women to test AGP. You wouldn't even need cis men, right? Like you would compare them to like you would compare them to cis women, right? Like you wouldn't even like I mean you could use that, but you wouldn't use that as like the control group, right? You would just use cis women as the control group, right? You're femeling better than I ever could. Aw, well thank you. How do you become trans? I don't know. I guess you're just like born with like a certain set of predispositions, and then it goes from there, right? Like when you say how do you become trans, do you mean like how do you transition, or do you mean like how do you come out as trans, or how do you find out that you're trans, or how does someone end up being trans in the first place? In which case it's like, well, that has to do with hormone washing that occurs within the womb, most likely. Anyways. Just got a job at the bank, better than a cemetery. I do now. That's sick. I was just a laborer for $22 an hour. Like Chris from Mr. Beast. I wouldn't use Chris from Mr. Beast as like a good example of a trans person, right? Are you Elon Musk's daughter? I am not. That's a better example of a trans person because, you know, she's not known for being a fucking creep. Yeah, Ava Chris Tyson is the worst possible, maybe not the worst, but one of the worst examples of a trans person that you could possibly bring up, right? Do I think that she's like faking being trans? No, but I think that like any cis person that, yeah, she's like kind of a shit person, right? I think that she's really creepy. That's what I think. I think that some of the things that she ended up liking on Twitter, some of the interactions that she had with minors were incredibly fucked up. There's no justification. It doesn't matter if she's trans, cis, a fucking attack helicopter. It literally makes no difference, right? What matters is the fact that she had inappropriate interactions with a minor, and that she liked drawn CP on Twitter, right? Like those are the main issues that I've had. So I think that Ava Chris Tyson is a fucking freak. Has nothing to do with her transness. She could be a cis man. I would still have the same position. She could be a trans woman. I still have the same position, right? Doesn't really change that. I hate that the creepiest trans people are always used as the poster child for the whole community. Yeah, and that's like a very deliberate thing on the end of conservatives and whatnot, right? That's like a very deliberate thing that they will oftentimes do. Wonder who you voted for? Yeah, I voted for Harris. It's not a secret. I've talked about it on stream before. Like, is that like meant to be like an own or something? Yeah, wearing animal ears does not make you a furry. Fun fact, in case you didn't know that. So did I. Based. Very based. But yeah, unfortunately she lost. I was surprised by the margin that she lost by. Again, my position beforehand was like, okay, it's like maybe like a 50-50 chance, or like 51-49 in favor of Kamala Harris, right? I thought it was going to be a really close race, right? And based on the polling data, that's what it looked like. What is a troon? Oh yeah, that's like a really funny word that sometimes people will use to describe trans people. It's like meant to be a slur, but it's just like a really fucking funny way to describe trans people. It's just, I don't know, it's just comedic in nature, okay? And what I mean by that is it's such a bad insult that it's like, I've literally made a podcast with another trans person, Jalen, called the Trooncast. All right? Like, dude, it's me and Jalen. This shit is legendary. This shit is awesome. This shit is based. Like, what can I say? It's the Trooncast. You can't tell me that this isn't the most based shit imaginable. Like, come on. Yes, how do you do, Philip? No, I'm actually a leftist, I'll have you find. Don't you dare call me a liberal. That is an insult. How dare you? Anyways, with that being said, were you a man or a woman? What do you mean when you say the term man or woman? Like, did I present as a man at one point? Yes, I did. I did present as that at one point. Doesn't mean that I was or wasn't one, right? Anyways, okay, my bad based? Hell yeah. No, I'm actually a leftist, okay? I make the categorical distinction. Yeah, I'm not a libtard. I know, it's crazy. I am a leftist, okay? Mainly because of my economic positions, I guess, which I don't know. I would consider myself like a very like what I believe in is like a very like weak form of leftism. Like I would say I'm barely a leftist. I'm barely a leftard, right? Yeah, leftard gang on top, right? Like the main reason is because I guess I'm in favor of market socialism, right? Well, that's not like one of my strongest held beliefs, right? Most of my strongest held beliefs are on the basis of progressivism and utilitarianism, right? Leftism is not good. Okay, why is leftism bad? Can you describe the objective or measurable harm caused by specific leftist positions? Like, what are leftist positions that you would disagree with? What's market socialism? Yeah, so like the entire notion behind it is there are like still markets and whatnot, right? So it's not like fully socialist, but it's mainly focused on like the notion of corporations being run by worker co-ops, like having some sort of collective ownership. So policies that I'd be in favor of, or at least a couple examples would be like a really strong social wealth fund, and I'd also be in favor of subsidizing worker cooperatives, right? Uh-oh, it says chat disconnected. Please don't disconnect. That's not very nice. Okay, it's reconnected. I hope I didn't lag. But yeah, I'm mainly in favor of again a really strong social wealth fund, and subsidizing worker cooperatives, right? Universal healthcare, absolutely, yeah, I'd be in favor of that. I think that healthcare is a basic human right. Would you debate somebody on economic issues? Probably not. I would just defer to somebody that's better at debating that specific topic that holds like a similar position to me, right? So I'd probably recommend debating somebody like Synth, right? Or like if you're like completely against not just market socialism, but like even just like a social wealth fund, then maybe like somebody like Synth or Moxie. Anyways, I don't know. I wouldn't be the best person to debate it. I'm not like super strong in my argumentation. Like I'll admit that it's not like something that I'm like super strong on. It's not like a super strong position I hold. It's just like the general position that I lean towards. Does that make sense? Like it's not like I don't want to. I don't want people to conflate this as like a strongly held stance that I have. It's just like the general way that I lean. But if somebody made a good enough argument against it, then I might lean less that way, if that makes sense. Whereas something like trans issues, I'm very good at debating, in my opinion at least. I think that I have a very strong position on the matter. Something like utilitarianism, I'm pretty decent at debating. But if somebody is like a complete philosophy nerd that's like actually smart, that has a different position, I might lose to them. But I'd still be willing to debate that. Because I think it's interesting. And there's nothing really at stake. Something like abortion, I'm pretty good at debating, I think. I'm pretty good at debating against Christian presuppositionalism. So there are quite a few topics that I'm pretty good at, that I have pretty strong positions on. Right? But it really depends on who I'm debating, and yeah, I don't know. But something like market socialism, that's just like a direction that I lean towards, right? So when I say I'm a market socialist, that's just like, okay, that's like the most accurate way to describe my general set of views and things that I am in favor of, but it's not like a super strongly held stance that I have. This is so chill. I'm curious to check out your YouTube content, but I don't want to miss the stream, TBH. Well, fair enough. Don't worry. I'm going to be ending stream in like, I don't know, like 40 minutes or something. Yeah, 40 minutes. Utilitarianism, so you live and let live. I guess, though that's not really necessary. I mean, I guess that is kind of entailed by utilitarianism, but that's not like the main focus. I guess I would argue that generally live and let live does maximize utility. So I guess, sure, that would be necessarily entailed, but I look at it from like a more like a metaethical standpoint, if that makes sense. Only 40 minutes, yeah. So I've been doing this stream for like a little under half an hour, and then I was doing a previous stream that was well over an hour. How long was the previous stream? An hour and 18 minutes. So I'm not streaming for super long today, but some days I do longer streams than others. So like, for example, yesterday I did... How long did I stream for yesterday? I did a 3.5 hour stream and then an hour and 14 minutes. So that's going to be, yeah. That's going to be almost, yeah, it's almost going to be Holy shit, like 6 hours, or sorry, 5 hours almost. Or fuck, no, I'm retarded. Yeah, almost 5 hours. Oh my god, I literally cannot do math right now. This generation is cooked, considering my inability to do math just there. Yeah, probably. If I'm gonna be completely honest, yeah. Holy shit, 394 concurrence again? Almost half an hour into the stream? That's actually quite impressive. Thank you, everybody who's tuned in. Have you fully transitioned? What do you mean by fully transitioned? Like, including bottom surgery? No, I haven't gotten bottom surgery. I haven't gotten face fem. I haven't gotten breast augmentation. I'm just on HRT. I don't intend on getting any surgery in the future. Maybe in the future I get face fem surgery. Unlikely at this point. I might get laser hair removal. That's probably gonna happen at some point in the future if I have enough money. And bottom surgery. No, I don't see myself getting that. Unless it's like, I don't know, something about it changes where it's like the risk reward factor is worth it and it's affordable for me, right? I don't know. For me, it's just too risky and too much to deal with, right? I don't really have that much bottom dysphoria. Surgery is like a big thing. Baldios. Wait, what? Am I bald now? Damn. I don't think I'm balding. Maybe I am actually balding. I think my hairline has stayed the same over the past year and a half I've been on HRT for, because if not, that's really fucking scary. Laser hair removal is crazy. No, I mean like laser hair removal for like my mustache area, like my chin hairs, like this area, and then maybe if I really have money at that point, maybe getting my legs laser hair removed. Laser hair removal, my favorite verb. Laser hair removal, yes, a great way to describe things. Jesus Christ. And like maybe like other areas, laser hair removal, just because, you know, like I shave those areas anyway. So anywhere I would shave under my armpits, my leg hair, etc. I'll just say etc. Yeah, why not? Like those are areas that I shave all the time anyway. So I may as well get laser if I have the money in the future. But that's way later down the line. I'm not gonna spend a bunch of money on stuff right now because, you know, I need to be able to do this as a full-time career first. So, you know, it's like, okay, this is not stable enough. I do intend on starting a Patreon as well. Just don't lose your cock and balls. That's so true. Girl, you're blonde. It's not like anybody's gonna see it. And guaranteed Lime likes your legs. Barely hairy the way they are. Yeah, but I don't think that Lime would be like, oh, you've got laser hair removal, that makes you less attractive, right? It's either gonna be the same or better, right? And for me, it's gonna be better. For me, one of the things I like about, right after I shave is that it feels smooth, right? So I might actually take a couple, like a few weeks for you to start seeing the leg hairs, right? However, it takes a lot less time for me to like start feeling the leg hairs, right? And I really like the feeling of smoothness, right? Does that make sense? It's like a preference. Or like, for instance, the mustache line, right? I don't know if you can see it on camera, but, sometimes if I like am like dysphoric enough, I'll just start plucking mustache hairs. Nair, no, you shouldn't use Nair on your, face, specifically. You should just use that on your legs, and for me, I've had mild success with it. It's not worth it, in my opinion. No, can't see. Yeah, that's the thing, is it's like a pain in the ass. Sometimes, like, occasionally I'll get razor burn. You have to buy new razors, and it's just like a hassle, because like if I were to like not shave for a month, like I would have a mustache, right? I'd rather not have to shave. Nair is so ass, completely overhyped, yeah. Nair is for butthole, I saw that on YouTube. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Do you advocate for the abolishment of private property? I don't advocate in favor of its complete abolishment. It's not like a huge thing that I advocate for. I wouldn't say I'm necessarily against it. I don't know. I'm kind of agnostic on that. Like, I would say that, I don't know. Like that like, I wouldn't be against it, though. I wouldn't be against it, though. That's like a very bold claim to make. It's like, okay, like maybe there might be, when it comes to like for instance, I think that maybe like, as an individual, you could privately own something, right? Like you privately own your house, let's say. But like when it comes to like the manufacturing processes that exist that create things, okay? When it comes to like manufacturing and shit like that, that could be publicly owned, right? but I wouldn't want to make like a bold statement saying that nothing can be privately owned, right? I feel like that's like a bit of a bold statement, right? Again, I don't have a strong enough stance on the matter to go that far. That's why when I say, okay, like, I guess I'm kind of a socialist, it's like, okay, more like market socialism type stuff, right? Again, that's just the way I lean. I don't have like a super strong stance against any and all private property, right? Like, I think like, okay, maybe it's like fine if people own their house or own a car, but maybe like I draw the line when it comes to manufacturing, right? Like for instance, I think it's the case that like rather than having it be like a top-down decision-making process from the people at the top that just have more money, that are either inheriting wealth or whatever, they've accumulated wealth somehow, right? And now they have like this disproportionate level of power as a result of that. And I would argue that oh wow, we've got the funny N-word tower. That's so funny. Do you read books on economic theory? No. If I'm gonna be completely honest, a lot of the theory stuff is stuff that like I've either thought about or like I've heard other people talk about it, right? I've analyzed it, right? I should do more reading, I will say. Though I will say that a lot of the things that I might listen to come from books, right? So I might listen to somebody on like a podcast, randomly just start talking about like, okay, here's like a theory that was talked about in this specific book. And then I sort of am like, okay, that's interesting, right? And I might account for it. Or maybe I'll hear an argument that's for or against something, and I'm like, okay, interesting, right? Reading is very good. I agree. Here's the thing. If I'm going to read, it needs to be like an audiobook at like 3 to 3.5 times speed if I want to process the information better. I am so fucking bad at sitting down and just reading a book. I don't know what it is, but when it comes to visually interpreting information, I'm just worse at it for some reason when it comes to like visually reading the words, right? Like it could be the same words and I'm hearing them at like 3 or 3.5 times speed and I will process them better, right? Maybe that's just me personally, but I don't know. So those are being a bottom. The other thing is that I want to spend all my time reading one book rather than just like looking like at general, like, I guess very broad analyses, if that makes sense. I love the new PFP Femyoz. Why, thank you. Who did you vote for? Also love the outfit. Why, thank you. I voted for Kamala Harris. I'm beginning to hate YouTube. Literally everyone here is some depressed, old white guy that's upset because a girl is having fun doing what she likes and they just can't deal with being alone. Yeah, I don't know. I've accepted the fact that, yeah, a lot of people are like weird. They're like anti-trans. They're just, I don't know. There are going to be a lot of weird people on the internet. You can build reading skills. Look, here's the thing. I can't get... It's not that I'm bad at reading. I've read studies on stream before, okay? And interpreted them quite well. I can read fairly fast. It's just that a lot of the time, I get distracted very easily. I have an ADHD brain. Like, I might read something and I might, like, process the information. I might start thinking about it, and then I start thinking about a bunch of other shit that's, like, tangentially sort of related, maybe, and then I just, like, start thinking for, like, quite a bit, right? Whereas if I'm listening to something in the background, unless I, like, go out of my way to pause it, then it's like I have to start thinking about that again, right? Otherwise, I overthink. Like, something you might have noticed when it comes to my React content is I'll pause a video, and then I'll start talking, and I'll start talking to you guys, okay? I'll talk to you guys in chat, and then I'll talk about a bunch of side tangents, right? I think trans are good people. I'm wary of the radical trans that advocate for child gender care, like children that are 18 under. I think that's a problem. Okay, so I think that the fundamental issue and the fundamental disagreement here is going to be whether or not the natal puberty is inherently preferable. I would argue that the answer is no. With that being said, I'll get back to that point in a few seconds. Thank you, DayDayVM, for the $10, you beautiful fucking bastard, saying, go spin bottom wamwa. Love a real top, DayDayXX. Shut up, so what if I'm a bottom, okay? I'm only admitting to that because we hit the dodo goal. Okay? Fine. Alright, I'll do 2 Skirt Go Spinnies for you. Thank you so much. W DayDay. Common DayDay W with the dono. And if you guys would like to join the tip train, the Streamlabs link is in the pinned message. Streamlabs.com/Femyoz. If you're on mobile and can't click it for whatever wacky reason, you're more than welcome to do so. And yeah, this is one of the few times we finally hit the dono goal. It's like, damn, yes, let's go. And then we're getting more than that. It's so awesome. Yeah, dude, I love this energy. Thank you for admitting to the entire chat that you were in fact the bottom, honey. Okay, shut up. Hugh, look, so what? All right, you know what? Anyways, I like your top, Femyoz. Is that a crop top? You better believe it is. Hi, Femyoz. How's life? It's going well. How is your life, Titan Gaming? But yeah, back to the main point that I was talking about. When it comes to gender affirming care for children, I would argue that in many instances, it would be an example of necessary medical care, right? So if it's the case that they get diagnosed with gender dysphoria, if it's the case that the doctor does a risk-benefit analysis and views it as like the best course of medical action, and it's the case that the parents consent, I would argue that with all of these combined variables, there's no argument against them getting gender-affirming care. It's also going to be the case that that's the standard for puberty blockers, which are mostly reversible, right? Are there potential side effects? Yes, that goes for any medication. There are potential side effects to Tylenol, for example, right? But relative to other medications that we take all the time, even as children, it's fairly safe, right? With that being said, you could just go off of it, and it's like going through a late puberty, right? So even if you think they're not ready to make the decision, that sort of accounts for that. Now, I believe it's the case that whether or not a certain set of changes or a certain puberty is desirable is not contingent upon whether or not it occurs naturally, right? It could be the case that somebody who is intersex goes through a very imbalanced puberty, right? That might cause harm to them, right? That's natural, but it doesn't necessarily make it good, right? This is a logical fallacy, right? The appeal to nature fallacy is in fact a fallacy, right? With that being said, I'd be against something like surgery for minors, right? It doesn't become more difficult to get surgery once you're an adult, right? If anything, it becomes easier, the care for that gets better, right? However, it becomes more difficult to transition if you've been forced to go through your natal puberty, right? So if you know that you're trans and the doctor agrees that you have gender dysphoria, right? There's not really a good argument for forcing them to go through the natal puberty, right? It's not desirable on the basis of it being natural. That's, again, a logical fallacy. I'll donate, Pookie. Well, any and all donations are very much appreciated, so feel free. I missed a lot. What's going on? I'm sort of addressing an argument that I think was made in good faith about worrying about, like, okay, like, what about trans kids? Like, how does that work? Like, I'm a little bit skeptical of that, which I think is, like, a fair starting point, right? That was my initial predisposition. Again, it only functions if you adhere to some sort of appeal to nature fallacy. If you don't, then there's not really a good reason why the natal puberty would necessarily be more desirable, right? Like if it's the case that the ramifications of going through HRT are so severe that you shouldn't be able to decide that as a child, then wouldn't everybody, necessarily have to go on puberty blockers, right? But of course, it's not going to be the case that you would advocate for that, right? Puberty blockers are the same that they give sex offenders. See, what you're failing to understand here is the dosages that they give are completely different, right? So if you take X amount of a medication and then you have a different example where somebody takes it, 5 times that amount, right? If they take one dosage, right? It's going to be the case that they're fine. It has the positive effects that you're looking for, right? Whereas if you take 5 times that amount, you're going to start having issues, right? If you take one Advil, okay, you're fine, okay? It's not going to harm you. It's going to do the thing that's intended. If you take an entire bottle of Advil, you fucking die, right? So the dosage is going to be very important, right? So you have to look at what the dosage is, not the medication itself, right? Because they do different things in different dosages. Also, thank you for the additional $10. Day VM, you beautiful fucking bastard, saying, only top she knows is the crop top. Too bad me and Lime ain't there to tug her bottom leash and hear the bottom bell ring. A ding. Lamau, love, Day XX. Thank you so much, Day. Feel free to request me purring into the mic or doing 2 Skirt Go Spinnies. Here, this is what it would look like if hypothetically you were here to tug the leash. Okay, there you go. Do you know you're trans? Yes, I do. Well, unless you mean like in like the philosophical context, right? Like do you know anything? Well, you can't know anything for certain, right? If that's what you mean, but like unless you want to get into like a really autistic philosophical debate, go spin one more time. I need you to be dizzy. All right, fair enough. Fair enough. All right, if you insist on me being dizzy. Dude, the funny thing is, if Behemoth really wanted to, he could make me very dizzy today. Anyways. I mean, how do you know if you're trans? Oh, how do you know if you're trans? So I figured it out personally, and it's gonna depend on who you are. Some people just know intuitively. Some people, it takes them a little bit more time to figure out. But for me, it was, just understanding intuitively that, okay, it seems to be the case that I don't want to masculinize, so I'm going to go on HRT because I do want to feminize, right? So that was the first thing I noticed. In order to maximize my happiness, as soon as I started noticing changes, I knew I had made the right decision to go on HRT. I also noticed that I preferred it when people used she, her pronouns for me, because for a while I was using any all pronouns. I'm like, okay, just call me what you think I look like, I guess, right? So that's what I did for the longest time. Eventually, a few newer viewers started calling me she, her, and I'm like, okay, I like that. I like that a lot more than he, him. I actually prefer they, them over he, him, and she, her over they, them, right? So I'm like, okay. Eventually, I got to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna use she, her, or she, they, right? Hi, I am new. Hello, Sonu Gaming. I hope you're doing well. Where did you get that skirt? I love it. I'm not gonna lie, I got it from Shein.com. I'm a broke ass bitch. I strongly disagree with that. I can't get beyond the concept of a children getting sex changes and a life-altering choice. For example, a kid cannot get a tattoo without parental consent. Yeah, so the fundamental issue with your argument here is a tattoo is not something that's been demonstrated to better the mental well-being of a child, right? You also mentioned parental consent, right? A prerequisite for a kid getting even just puberty blockers, let alone HRT, is parental consent. That is currently a prerequisite, right? So that's the second point. The third point is that gender affirming care is something that has been statistically demonstrated to benefit trans, not just trans people, but just trans kids as well, right? So you have to keep in mind that with all of these variables, like, it is a form of necessary medical care, right? So I guess then maybe you agree that, like, okay, if the parents consent, it's fine. In which case, then we could move on to a discussion about something along the lines of, I don't know. Sorry, what was I gonna say? Like something along the lines of whether or not parents have a right to prevent their kids from getting necessary medical care. So we could have like a discussion about, like, okay, like, if let's say you have like a parent who's like an anti-vaxxer, like, do they have the right to prevent their kid from getting vaccinated? If not, why? What about like a parent who decides that even though their kid has clinical depression, that they can't get antidepressants? Okay, is that okay? Right? And we could really get into the weeds of that. But first, you'd have to concede, at the very least, that if the parents consent and the doctors consent and the child wants it, that it's fine, right? For them to go on puberty blockers or maybe even HRT. I'm a transfem, but I'm not taking puberty blockers because in my mind, none of the stuff that I feel dysphoric about are permanent, really. Yeah, that's fair, that's fair. It really depends on what kind of dysphoria you have. Yeah, but what if a kid gets changes and then regrets it when they grow up? Yeah, so it's going to be the case that the regret rates have been statistically proven to be very low, right? So that's negligible, right? There's going to be a regret rate for any medication, life-altering or not. So yeah, so that's going to be the first point, right? The second point is going to be there's also going to be regret rates for not transitioning sooner, right? That's not really something that's been studied, but I know for me, I regret not transitioning sooner. It's not important for medical care. No, it literally is. Giving a child surgery is not the way. Okay, I never said surgery, right? I already made the distinction, right? I was talking about puberty blockers and then maybe HRT, right? So you're actually putting words into my mouth, right? So I never advocated for trans kids to get surgery. I actually don't think it's necessary for them to get surgery while they're minors, right? Even if it's the case that they need surgery later in life, it doesn't become harder to get surgery. So that's like already a point that I made earlier. I'm not sure if you were tuning out for when I said that, but I never advocated in favor of them getting surgery, right? Psychological help and more education about the long-term effects. There's an industry at transitioning kids out there, not with bottom surgery, right? So when it comes to bottom surgery, there's just like not like this huge epidemic of minors having access to that, right? There might be like one or two examples you can find that exist out there of like really niche cases of like a kid getting bottom surgery when they're like 16 or something. But that's like really fucking rare. The regret rate is variable depending on the price. Why don't you tell them the cost of transition? Wait, hold on. You think that wait, hold on. Do you mean the detransition rate? Because the regret rate and the detransition rate are not going to be the same, right? So if it's the case that transition is expensive, right? And then they are off of HRT for a while, that doesn't mean that they regret transitioning or that they're not really trans, right? That just means that they don't have access to HRT, right? But then they want access in the future, right? Like those people wouldn't constitute as like they wouldn't classify as being regretful, right? Pharmacy makes 70K per child transitioning. Do you have any evidence of this being the case? Like where are you getting this number from? Like 70K per child transitioning. Like are we including surgery or what, right? Because like I'm not advocating for them to get surgery, right? Like I didn't mean to put words in your mouth. I misunderstood you. Yeah, no worries. You want me to pull it up? Wait, hold on. If we're talking about surgery, are we including bottom surgery? Or are we talking, because I'm just in favor of puberty blockers and then HRT, right? So how expensive is I don't know, estradiol and spironolactone without insurance? How expensive is estradiol and spironolactone without insurance? Okay, it's gonna be more expensive, right? Okay, so Spyro is 1766 per 30, right? Oh wait, so that's for 25 milligrams. So maybe it'd be twice that. Worst case scenario. Hold on, let me get my fucking calculator out, okay? So I know I take there'd be like 2 of those or 4 of those, right? So if it's 100 a day, so that'd be 17.66. Wait, hold on. Without insurance costs for 30 of them, so that'd be a month. So a month would be 7.66. I guess times 4 if you're on like the most that you would be on. That'd be $70 a month. So multiply that by 12. Okay, that's gonna be $847 a year. All right, so that's Spyro. And then for estradiol, let's see. So if it's 1 milligram of estradiol, that can cost a 30-day supply of 1 milligram. So that would be 29 or less without insurance. Okay, so that's without insurance. So let's see here. So that's gonna be let's see. That's so 29 times what's the highest dosage of estradiol that you can possibly get? Times 8 would be 232. Times 12. So like the absolute worst case scenario, 847.68 would be $3,500. So $3,631 a year. So that's not even close to 70,000, right? So if you actually do the math, like even without insurance, right? Like that's gonna be the absolute most you're paying, and that's if you're on if you're literally fucking maxed out on estrogen and Spyro, right? Anyways, I'm learning a lot here and I'm enjoying it. Yo, let's go. Let's go. I understand where you're coming from. Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna look at all of what the evidence actually has to say on the matter, right? So let's see here. Where the hell? Let me see if I can find the goddamn thing. God damn it. Where the hell? It's gonna be in my downloads, I think, is where I have the PDF of it. Untitled document, I think. Yes, Adobe Acrobat. Because I know I have a list of sources in this. Yeah. So, let me see if I can find... Yeah. So, yeah, so there's actually a study that was published by the American Academy of Pediatrics that concluded that gender incongruent youth who presented gender affirming care later in life have significantly increased rates of depression and anxiety. Another study by the American Academy of Pediatrics concluded that there is a significant inverse association between treatment with pubertal suppression during adolescence and a lifetime suicidal ideation among transgender adults who ever wanted this treatment. Okay, so let me see if I can find. I think it's yes, allow. It's gonna be this one and this one, I think. Yeah, so it's gonna be I think it's gonna be this study right here is one of them. So I'll link it in chat. If you're on PC, you should be able to click it. If not, go on your PC, I guess. Right? It was that one, right? Hold on. Wait, let me make sure it's the right one. Yeah. So that's mental health of transgender children who are supported in their identities. And then for pubertal suppression, let me link this. Okay. Let me make sure that's the other one. Okay, yeah, so that's for pubertal suppression. And then, let's see here. What else is there? So, a systematic review conducted by Cornell University identified 55 studies related to the effects of gender transition on the well-being of trans people. So this is about trans people broadly, 51 of which found that transitioning improves their overall well-being. None of the studies concluded that transition causes harm, right? So it's like the overwhelming scientific consensus is in favor of letting trans people transition, right? So an example of one of the studies would be like a longitudinal study published on Science Direct, which found that within just 12 months of hormone replacement therapy, the amount of patients experiencing psychiatric distress was substantially decreased from 50% to 17% for anxiety, and from 42% to 23% for depression, right? So let me see if I can find that. Yeah, Science Direct longitudinal study. Okay. Okay, you have to access it through an organization, sadly. But if you're like a college student, then you should be able to look at it. Oh shit, the link is too long. All right, maybe I don't cite this one. All right, since it's paywalled. I'm not gonna dox myself either, because it would show what organization it is. Let's see here. And then the one from Cornell University. Let's see here. This was the one with 55 studies, right? Hopefully this URL isn't too long for the chat. Yeah, it's good. Okay. So if you're on PC, you should be able to get that. Hopefully that's helpful for anybody that cares enough to research. I can't. I'm on my phone. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. Maybe get on your PC at some point if you have one. The live chat will be enabled on the VOD. It won't for a little bit. I know that like right after it, like when it's still processing, you won't have it. So maybe come back in like a day or two. See if like the live chat replay is working, and then go to like, I don't know, like maybe like roughly like 54 or 55 minutes into the stream or whatever, right? Since we're like almost 58 minutes into it. But yeah, I'm gonna go for like another 15 minutes maybe. I will give her a fair shot, her being Femyoz. Yeah, I do know that if you're on mobile and you want to click the links, something you might be able to do is you should be able to what you could do if you want to get like the regular mode for the stream instead of like the mobile version, you can stop watching this, go to your search history, add it to your watch later, and then if you have other videos in the watch later, I think, that are like not vertical, then you should be able to watch this, and then you'll click on links and whatnot, so that should also work. Yeah, live chat usually takes at least a couple hours to appear on the VOD. But yeah, so again, I'm just in favor of going along with what the actual scientific consensus is on the matter, and just like looking what the actual evidence has to say on the matter. But yeah, from all of the studies that I've seen, the conclusion is either there's insufficient evidence from this study to conclude one way or another, or there is sufficient evidence to conclude that this care is beneficial to trans people, right? Let me preface this by saying I support you 100%, but I have a real problem with teachers of elementary schools or even high school kids feeling the need to share their sexuality. What do you mean by sharing it? Like, I don't know, like sharing it where, under what circumstances, in what context? Like, people can come out as high schoolers. Like, they shouldn't be forced to stay in the closet, right? Or, oh, you're saying the teachers, I guess? I mean, I don't think that the teachers should be able to, or sorry, I think that the teachers should be able to come out, right? It's like, oh, I have a husband now. Or I'm dating a guy, and then, like, they're a guy. Or, oh, I'm dating a woman, and they're a woman, right? I think that's, like, perfectly acceptable. Or, like, if, like, there's, like, a trans person that just so happens to be a teacher, like, it'd be reasonable for them to come out and be like, oh, I use she, her pronouns now. I'm starting to transition, right? I think it's, like, a perfectly reasonable thing to do as a teacher, right? Like, I don't think it's, like, I don't think there's any instances, or maybe there's, like, one niche case scenario where it's, like, okay, here's, like, one bad teacher. I mean, the teachers when I was in school, I didn't know anything personal about the teachers, so, like, if, like, say, for instance, like, a teacher mentioned on the first day of school that they have, like, a wife, right, and they're a guy, like, would you have, like, an issue with that? Like, let's say it's, like, the first day of school, and it's, like, getting to know you type of thing, right? Like, would you argue that the teacher shouldn't be able to, like, say, like, yeah, I have a husband or a wife, like, regardless of whether or not it's straight or gay or what, right? I mean, if that's the case, I mean, I guess at least then you have a consistent standard, but at the same time, I would argue that whether or not they share something as trivial as that is kind of not that big of a deal. Like, if it's the case that, like, I don't know, like, a teacher that's, like, a girl was like, yeah, I have a wife, right? Like, she would necessarily be coming out as a lesbian, right? She would be informing people inadvertently of her sexuality, right? But I think it's still perfectly acceptable to say, oh, yeah, I have a wife. Like, I don't know. I think it's unreasonable. No, I think I think it's stupid to expect them to never get personal. I think that's stupid. Like, that they're, at the end of the day, they're human beings. I think that if they're, like, a complete robot that is like, you will do the assignments, I am not a real person, you will turn in the homework in the turn-in tray and not put it on my desk, I will just do me rambling and you will do the busy work. I think that that's, like, the worst way you can teach. I think that the best way to teach is to be, like, an actual fucking person that treats their students like a person, right? Like, that's, like, the last thing I want is for, like, I remember when I was growing up, like, the worst thing ever was when the teacher was, like, a robot. You know what I mean? Like, the best kinds of teachers were, like, the ones that actually, you know, had a passion for what they're talking about, B, were, like, personable and treated the kids like actual fucking people, right? That actually, like, acted like humans. That's how my teachers were. Well, yeah, that's a bad thing. Like, they shouldn't be like that. I would argue that just makes it a worse learning environment where it's like, oh, okay, so, like, you want to, like, depersonalize it as much as possible and just assert yourself as, like, an authority figure rather than, like, an actual human being. I think that's fucking stupid. I don't think that's productive. I don't think it helps create, like, a good learning environment. I think it just makes kids bored and disengaged, right? I think that, like, as a teacher, your goal should be to maximize the level of engagement that there is among your students with the course material, right? I think it's like that is your job, right? Is to maximize that, or at least that's what you ought to do if you're a good teacher, right? Right? Like, now you don't have to be as, like, engaging as, like, a fucking YouTuber, right? You don't have to be me. You don't have to be, like, super good at yapping for hours at a time and super high energy 24/7. But, like, do the fucking bare minimum, right? You don't have to be me, right? You don't have to be an entertainer to be a good teacher, but you have to be at least somewhat entertaining, right? I know the sexuality of every one of my teachers. Most are straight, so it seems non-problematic. Yeah, like, that's the thing is people never made it an issue before. People were never like, I think it's a huge issue. I think it's a danger to children that these straight teachers are sharing their sexuality and sharing the fact that they have wives and husbands. Like, nobody was ever right. But as soon as it comes to gay people, or if it's like a woman and a woman, oh no, now it's grooming apparently, right? It's like a very inconsistent standard. But again, at the end of the day, I think that teachers have every right to share the fact that they have a wife or a husband. Like, that's not that personal of a detail. That's, like, so generic, if anything. Now, if they were, I don't know, describing, yes, here is the last sexual encounter I had with my wife, then yeah, that's fucking weird, regardless of your sexuality. You should not be doing that. That's too much, right? That's an overshare. Some of my teachers spoke about their wives and husbands when they had a great relationship. Yeah, and I think that's like a perfectly reasonable thing to do. Like that's not grooming. That's not like a danger to children. I just wanted to hear your opinion. It's been a long time since I've been in school. Yeah, I mean that's fair too. I graduated high school quite a while ago now. I mean I'm 20. I graduated when I was 18. What about trans teachers? Yeah, they have every right to come out. Yeah, literally nothing wrong with that. I see it as no different from them identifying with their gender assigned at birth in a moral sense. Like if a teacher decides that they want to come out and it's like, oh, by the way, I use she, her pronouns now instead of he, him, right? I think it's perfectly reasonable. Yeah, exactly. Like the entire argument just boils down to, I don't want my kids to know that gay or trans people exist when people make those arguments, because nobody would be like, oh, okay, like, oh, I have like a huge issue with, a teacher sharing that they have a straight relationship with their wife or husband, right? But then it's like, oh, a gay relationship, that's where they draw the line. No, that's fucking stupid. Either both of them are grooming or none of them. And I'm going to argue that none of them are. I don't think it's grooming to say I have a husband or I have a wife to a kid. That like there's nothing predatory about that. It's just a complete double standard. I hate that they forbid teachers to even put a picture of their same-sex spouse on their desk. Yeah, it's like a completely inconsistent standard. It's like, oh, okay, so it's like fine if it's like a straight couple and they do that, but then it's like, oh, as soon as they're gay, now it's bad. It's like there's an inherent bias there. It's so fucking obvious. It's completely illogical. It's something I would have been able to pick up on as like a middle schooler. Like when I was in middle school, my political analysis would not have been particularly good. But at the same time, like when I was in 7th or 8th grade, I would have, if this was like discourse that was happening at the time, I would have looked at that and been like, yeah, these right-wingers are fucking stupid, right? Like this is such a bad argument. Like, okay, so let me get this straight. It's like okay if like a straight teacher has like them and their spouse as a picture on their desk, but like a gay couple, no, that's not okay. That's grooming. Like what an inconsistent standard. Like I'm not gonna see that and become fucking gay as a result, right? Like even back then, I would have made that argument. And like and I was a fucking retard, right? Like if you're whatever, a fucking middle schooler, you're retarded, right? Just by default, right? And even back then I would have been able to make this argument. Right? Like I didn't really have like a strong moral framework either, right? Like all of my arguments were like on the basis of hypocrisy and logical consistency. That was it. That was all I thought in terms of, right? Where it's like I didn't really take a strong stance on a lot of things that I do now, right? It's just about internal consistency for a lot of it. Yeah, Ava and Eve, that's so true. What about that one guy who wanted to make a video of himself? Who made a video of himself praying for Trump and is forcing the school district to play his video of him praying. I would argue that if that's a public school, then that actually should be illegal, because that's inherently a violation of the separation of church and state. It's unconstitutional, right? Because obviously, if we're talking about something that the state is funding, it is necessarily going to be funding that as a result, right? Because it's funding the school district that funds that specific teacher, right? Meaning that their money directly goes towards like a religious institution, meaning that it's favoring that, right? Which I would argue that that's wrong, right? Yeah, keep church out of schools. I would make the same argument if somebody was in class as a teacher, praying to Allah or whatever the fuck, right? And like making, or not just praying to Allah, but like whatever, having everybody watch a video of them like praying to Allah that Kamala Harris wins or whatever, right? I don't think you should be showing that either, right? In a public school, because again, that's like a violation of the separation of church and state, right? Literally, Trump said he wants to bring back prayer to schools. Yeah, because he obviously doesn't give a fuck about the Constitution. Again, when I was like a super apolitical motherfucker that like was like more right wing, if anything, right? Like I wasn't apolitical, right? I was center right, but back then, like my position was like I heavily valued the Constitution. I was at the position like, okay, yeah, like the country's gonna fucking crumble like if we don't respect this, right? And I would have looked at something like this and I'd have been like, this is a violation of the First Amendment. Like a lot of the things that Trump is doing are violations of that, right? And I would have made a center-right libertarian argument against what Donald Trump is doing, even back then. Again, that's why my dad, who is center-right, will never vote for Trump. He doesn't really care that as much about the Constitution as much as I would have at the time. But he does care about the fact that, like, okay, like, Trump is, like, extremely unruly, right? He's just, like, a very unruly individual. That's, like, willing to break the law, that's willing to just do whatever the fuck it is, that's necessary to maximize his power, right? And, like, my dad recognizes that there's, like, a lot of harm that can come from that, right? Same, I'm a hardcore constitutionalist, I think. Yeah, at one point I was a constitutionalist. I didn't even have the terminology. I wouldn't have even known that's, like, what it's called, right? But I was a constitutionalist at one point. Yeah. Anyways. Yeah, and Trump, yeah, exactly. Like, if we're talking about, like, a lack of separation between church and state, like, that's a fundamental violation of the First Amendment, right? That's like a violation. Same thing with Trump wanting to ban people from banning American flags. Him wanting to make that a crime. That's a violation of the First Amendment, right? You might disagree with it, right? But I don't think it should be illegal to burn an American flag, a gay flag, whatever the fuck, right? Burn whatever flags you want as long as you own it, right? That's like a very basic libertarian argument. Just, I don't want the government telling me what I am and am not allowed to do with my own private property, right? Like, that's a very basic libertarian argument. Like, you don't have to be a fucking left winger to make that or to understand that. Like, fuck, before I was a leftist, I would have made that same argument against Trump. Obama has a degree on the Constitution. That's cool, I guess. Is your dad homophobic? No. He's not homophobic. Most of his takes that I would consider to be bad takes are on economic shit. Like, his position is always like, I just want the government to stay out of it. Like, that's like his position on a lot of things, which is like an intuitively good idea, right? Issue is that it gets more complicated than that, right? When it comes to, like, okay, like, what if the federal government is exercising more power in order to prevent smaller governments or institutions from infringing upon people's rights, right? Then it gets a little bit more complex there, where it's like, okay, I would argue that, like, yes, the federal government should step in, whereas my dad might be like, well, not necessarily. I think that it should be up to the states or whatever the fuck, right? Like, my dad is like he's definitely like he's in favor of like he'd be okay with he also has like a very like weird view on like how laws are like written and enforced, right? So he was like actually defending like the overturning of Roe v. Wade just because like it was very flimsy or whatever, which I guess fair. He was looking at it less in like a consequentialist sense, but he would also be like okay with like individual states banning abortions as well as a federal law. Or sorry, not banning abortions. He'd be okay with states protecting abortion as well as a federal law that that protects abortion, right? So he'd be okay with that. Right? So like he's very weird about how he views that. Like he's very I guess procedural in that way. Whereas like somebody like me would argue, okay, like I think it's very bad that Roe v. Wade was overturned because as a consequentialist, like I view this as like a negative outcome, right? Like the outcomes of this are purely negative. There's no positive outcome. There's nothing good that comes from this, right? So that was like a fundamental disagreement that we've had in the past. Holy shit. Thank you, Behemoth, for the $50. Holy shit, holy shit, holy shit, holy shit. Thank you so much. Holy fuck. What a way to end stream. Thank you so much. Can we get some more OS7s for the end of stream? Oh my god. For Behemoth? Holy shit. You are so kind. I'm definitely coming back for the next stream, girl. Let's go. Holy shit. Why are you so kind? You're the nicest person ever. Holy shit. Common Behemoth W. Oh my god, I was not expecting that. I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry in a good way. Like the good kind of crying, of course. Yes, double the dodo goal. Holy shit. Oh my god.